Here's Daf Yerushalmi Kilayim in the Arts Closed by the Hood edition. We are on Daf Mem Tes Amud Aleph, and we are Mapligin, the fourth line down. And in the Milna, a bunch of slime here. We should be on Daf Chav Vav Amud Aleph. The fifth line down the Gemara. Mapligin. So what's the machlekes about the charitz in the middle? It's in the case of Shtei Shuros Mikan V'Shtei Shuros Mikan, when there's two rows on each side, like this picture from yesterday, two rows on each side. But if there's only Mikan, like this over here, one row on each side of the charitz. Once it goes opposite three of the kfanim, the kerem is batel, because you're only going to have Stein Kegel, Stein Bechad Yotzi Zonov. There's a hefsek. So to have to break a existing kerem, which break the chibur between two existing kramim, one on each side of the charitz, that's much harder than to break the kerem, one kerem, into its individual components, which then will no longer be considered kerem anymore. And Tani, Bachs Mikan Osir. If it's less than 10 tefachim deep, no good. It's awesome. It's not going to be hefsek. Well, says Gemara, the low cane, it was not like that. Dal cane means low cane. It wasn't that way. Ma on Armenia, what we say, asura asur, tisha lo koshkein. It was 9 would be 10 would be asur, so 9 certainly would be asur. So I forgot what that means. A second here. Yes, that was actually a bad mistake. We're going to the part of the Mishnah, which is Agash Bekam Mukasar Rochva Arba. Azoim Zoga Diva Rabbi Eliezer. Chacham Moser. We're going to Chacham Moser. Chachamim Aser. Even though it's 10 fucking deep. So now that Gemara says this strange line. Gemara says Taipaz Mikan Aser. If it's less than 10 fucking, it's Aser. Well, it says, isn't it obvious? Locain Manom Rim. What did you say? What else would you say? If you're saying when it's 10 fucking deep, you can't plant in the Ghats. Certainly, Tishlo Koshkein, this is obvious, not obvious, you can't plant when it's only 9 fucking deep. Okay, so maybe what we mean to say, if it's not the proper width, it's less than 4 amos. So it's 4 amos, you can't plant there. So, again, what do you mean? The loke manonomim. What would it say? What if it's less 4 amos? What would our havamina be? That it should be mutter. So we say yesaka sasum te mutter. We say that since it's less than 4 amos across, it's like it's closed up, I guess hermetically sealed, and therefore it'd be mutter. Now that's assuming it's going to the last part of the Mishnah, but Reb Chaim doesn't say that. Reb Chaim says that it's going on the chritz, which is less than 4 tefachim wide. So, and saying that if it's less than 4 tefachim wide, it's also. So then that's he's saying maybe if you what would your mean to be? Perhaps it'd be that less than 4 tefachim across. It's like sasum, and therefore again the same idea. It's as if it's sasum, and therefore it's completely blocked off from the rest of the field. The Chaim says because you could step over it, and therefore it's as if you're planting underground. It should be mutter. No, it doesn't make sense. Loke why? Because loke tani shoshe per nichnasi toch arba amash kerem madim shlosh tefachim. No, there's actually saying, yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe it is considered to be sasum is mutter. If you have roots of the pale, which is a type of seed, which goes in 4 amos into the 4 amos of the kerem, which is a no. It's not this number of the kerem, but it's the matim mishlosha tfachim. It's more. It's 3 tfachim beneath the ground. It's mutter, and there's no harei mutarim, so there's no kilei kerem. So here too, maybe it's a taka. We'd see either the gas says it's sasum or the chrit says if it's sasum, and therefore it should be mutter because it's on the ground. So when it says shani shavir karamakif, this is we can't say that because the charitz or the gas is surrounded by the avir kerem, and therefore it can't be seen as being sasum and sealed off from the rest of the kerem. The and now it says here the Amem Rabbi Elazar. Elazar said to them, and this is our well. And the Gemara says, "Am Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov." The Rashi and Chaim take out the ben Yaakov because it's going on. They want to say it's not going on at the beginning of the Mishnah. It said, "Let's Yaakov Meir set up at the end," which it says on the gas, which says that if it's 4 amos, it's a cross, it's mutter. If it's 10 even 4, it's mutter. And Chachamim maser. So Rabbi Elazar said to Chachamim, "Ein atem modim li, do not concede to me she'amo kigavoa, that depth is like height. So you're reminded to me that you can plant on a mound which is 10 fucking high. Why can't you plant in a depression which is 10 fucking deep? Right? So then the Reb Chaim puts in and Rash put in Amulei in. Yes, we would say that. You're right, logically, except we have this problem of the Avir Kerem Makiv, the surrounding on it surrounds on all 4 sides, and that gives us this problem that we can't say we can't plant. In other words, when it's above ground, so it's raised above. It looks different to people who look at it. Remember, comes on my sign. If it's down on the ground, the observer doesn't see it as being different. He sees a continuous kerem and doesn't see the depression as being distinct. Okay, Mistabra says Gemara Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, Mother Rabbi Elazar. Elazar ben Yaakov would concede to Rabbi Elazar. Sorry, Mistabra Elazar, Mother Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. Elazar ben Yaakov lo yodi Rabbi Elazar. They both appear in our Mishnah, right? Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov said the charitz has to go mefulish mirosh kerem vad sofo. And beyond, we said all sorts of avoda. So Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov she amok ki gavoa. They both hold that deep is like height. Yeah, well, that's true because Elazar ben Yaakov holds that the charetz is mafsik. And Rabbi Elazar holds you can plant in the gas. But nevertheless, that's true. Rabbi Elazar would be my Rabbi Elazar because he makes a mok like a voah. Rabbi Elazar Yaakov did Rabbi Elazar, but not the other way around. Rabbi Elazar because there Rabbi Elazar is going to be more foolish and beyond. But here it's not going to be good. It's not good. Avir kerem makif. Because it's surrounded by the Avir Kerem. Rabbi Chia b'shem Rabbi Yochanan said, "Tzarech sheyeh sham chalal arba." There's got to be a cavity of 4. Now here I have my own picture. So small. On the top of the shomera over here. You can't plant flush on the top of the shomera. There's got to be an indentation on the top of the shomera of 4 tefachim by 4 tefachim. You can plant in that indentation, but not flush on the top of the mount. Uh, so that's the Reb Chaim, and not the Pnei Moshe I wrote here. And Shai so says that the 10 tfachim, 4 tfachim, are from the ground. Interesting. He says you can plant, as long as the 4 tfachim from the ground, you can plant on the sides of the mound. I guess because once it's distinct, it's distinct. So according to Reb Chaim, it's on the top of the mound, that's be a depression, and you can plant in that depression. According to Shai so you can go forth when you go off the ground and start planting there. Okay. Um, Rabbi Chavda and Shul Omer, no, Rabbi Shmuel, Bar Yitzchak, Tamer Bar Gula, if it's round. So it has to be round that it can have the 4 tvachim depression in the middle. Avam Rabas answers Shisham Chala Arba. But if it's square, it doesn't have to have a Chala Arba. And Chaim says when it's square, it's more nicker as being like a house, being independent, and therefore it does not require the chritz, the depression. If it's like rounded, so then you have to make that thing which is 4x4 in order that it looks like a separate rishus, a more. I'm not sure that makes it look more than a house, but somehow or another it makes it look house-like. We learned that's going to Shara Torah is Israel. I guess you would say that what you need to be marking from the ground for tvachim is when it's round because it's not so nicker that it's separate from the ground. But when it is quadrilateral, so then you don't need to have chal arba. Let's see, we're up to here. So it's interesting that the Marafulda, by the time the article says that the chalal arba in the round is actually on the side. The plant on the side. You have to have a chalal arba. Presumably, if it's square, it looks separate enough. But if it's not square, it's round. So in order to plant on the side, you have to have chalal arba like that. Yeah. Okay. Major Mishatim, what the chalal arba is. And now we go a little bit further than that. He holds that to be the top of the tail has to be 3 tefachim thick, in order to be able to be a makom chashuv, to plant there, and be a hefsek. That is Rabbi Yossi Adotem Bagula. If it's round, and it's a shesham shlosha tefachim up from milamala. So it seems that he's arguing. He's saying that it's not you need a chal arba, you need offer shlosha. Not sure what the difference would be. They make it better. So the way Bnei Moshe learns, it's a cone, and at the bottom has to have 4 tefachim. The top only has to have 3 tefachim. Doesn't seem to be right. It should be the same shear on top. And that's why Chaim's learning it's the thickness of the dirt. I don't know why that makes a difference. The Shara Yisrael wants to say that the 3 tefachim are this. A shomera is a house for a shomer, not just a place where a shomer stands on top. And if you want to plant inside the house, it's got to have a raised platform of 3 tefachim. I don't think it makes doesn't make me any happier though. I don't know what the 3 tefachim exactly is doing here at the top of the mound. Guess we have to check Yerushalmi. Okay, so let's go back and analyze this a bit. With the Shomera, well, he said it has to have a chalal arba on top. So the way the Reb Chaim explained it there, and the way Yerushalmi explains it, is that that indentation is the place for the shomer to sit. That gives it chashivas. So, but you only need that indentation to make it for the shomer to sit if it's round, but not if it's square. Why if it's square? Because it looks like a house. Looks like a house. That in of itself distinguishes it from the surrounding area. It's a bit difficult, but that's okay. That's what it means. Then Rabbi Chalafter ben Shmuel says that uh, they have to have three tefachim are from the Malon. So Levi Sham actually explains that the three tefachim are, like the Reb Chaim says, three tefachim with thickness, and that's for the purpose of the roots, because it has to be really that there's that the if the if the roots go down deeper and go down into the Halal Hatel, so then it's not. It's not. It's as if you're planting in the halal below. So he's also learning that it's like a house, and there is a halal, but not that the three tefachim are below, like Shatter is learning, but they're on top. And the shroshim must not go into the halal. And if there's three tefachim, it's considered that it's not going into the halal. So the halal itself has got to be 10 tefachim, and then you have to have three tefachim on top. So in essence, the 10 tefachim are not enough. You have to have three tefachim on top of that. Alternatively, of course, like you have by sukkah, you can dig down inside, so you have 10 tefachim, including the three tefachim beneath the ground, and then you leave. That means there's only 7 tefachim above ground, and then you can leave an additional 3 tefachim and plant on the top of the mound of 10, on the top of the shomera of 10. Amr Abba said, Bagula, Ambas answer she has milamala. When it is, that's only when it's round and it doesn't look so much like a house for a shomer. But if it's square, you don't need 3 tefachim on top. Okay, still not very happy, but that is but the Yerushalmi is the name of the Chaznish as well. Mishlosha bar Abba, he must nisan. So that when Mishnah says you're allowed to plant in a house in the kerem, that's about where the halal habayis has from 3 to 4 tefachim, as we're going to explain. Pachas mishloisha, if it does less than 3, kisasim, it's like it's closed up, and therefore the house is not going to be hepsek. It's as if there's nothing there, and you're not allowed to plant kilayim, plant different meaning even inside the house. Mishlosha barabah, between 3 and 4. So Shloim Masisa. Mishlosha barabah, mashlim arba v'zorea miyad. So the way the Rasfilio says the walls of the house are mashlim. The Gra, which Reb Chaim brings down, says that also it's going in the house and planting in it. And the Halal Abayis is from less than 3 tzasim. And the house on the half, so you can now let the plant inside it. From 3 to 4, you can plant on the other side of the house. But you have to leave enough to make up the 4. Let's say the inside house is 3.5, you have to leave 0.5 on the outside of the house. So it's not going on planting inside the house. However, the house is less than 4, it's not a house. Even even for Tvachim, 4 amos is really considered to be a house, but at least for Tvachim. Because I guess because it's a Shomera, so it doesn't have to be the full 4 amos, right? It's not really a house. But in any event, so then either the walls are mashlim, bring down, or if you want to plant outside the other side, you're mashlim by leaving up to 4 on the other side. Arba arba zoreh miyad. If it's 4, then you can plant immediately, which I guess it means either immediately on the other side of the house, you don't have to make up the 4, or it could be that now it means you can plant inside the house because it has a chashivas makam in the house, and therefore, in the Shomer, I keep saying house, therefore that's significant unto itself, you can plant there. Into this, but the Shaitor so learned this story about a geffen which is planted in the gas or in some other depression. So we're gonna not go with that. It's complicated enough as is. We're not gonna make it more complicated. Shmuel said, the what's the source for all this? All these things we're saying here. So he says, there's a pasuk which says, "Uvevate kilayim huchbu." Yeshaya mem beis beis. No, that's not it. Yeah. So it doesn't say Bati Kilayim in the pasuk. It says Bati Kloim. Kloim is prisons. They were hidden in prisons. The pasuk is Fu ambazui v'shasui bazuz v'shasui hafech bachurim kulam Bati Kloim huchbo v'levaz v'matzil m'shisa v'eino meral shev. So say Bati Kloim, prisons. But we learn it's a asmachta, Bati Kilayim huchbo. If you plant in the inside the house, and the house is the proper shear of 4 tfachim, so then it's considered to be separate. Okay, says the Mishnah further. Hanotel yer became somebody who plants vegetables in a vineyard, or leaves them there growing deliberately. It's going to answer 45 gefanim, which of course is going to have to be explained, and it's the general principle is anything within 16 amos, which is Shirat Markav Gadol, and the Gemara is going to give the cheshbon. Amos says Shetus Arba Chamesh if they're planted 4 by 4 or 5 by 5. So Shesh or Sheva Sheva is Mkar Shesh Molcho Ruach Agulos V'Lom Bros. So when the one geffen is 4 amos away from, or 5 amos away from the other, so then they're 45 kafanim within 16 amos. Otherwise, they're going to, between one geffen and the other one, there's 6 amos, then they're not going to be 45, and it's going to catch as much as in that circumference, which the Gemara is going to discuss tomorrow.